Hello, sinners and saints. Hope y'all are doing well. Okay, this case you may have heard of. It's the pizza shop. I said pizza shop. YouTube has nothing to do with what you're thinking about. It's actually a killing in a different way. Now we go. Of course, of course. Okay, around 1 p.m. This takes place in Pennsylvania, by the way, and Erie County. How fitting. Okay, around 1 p.m. on August 28, 2003, a pizza shop received a fake phone call. Within 2 hours of receiving that phone call, one of their employees was in a bank trying to rob it with a bomb collar around his neck. This is one of the most bizarre and twisted cases I have ever covered. Today, we're going to be talking about Brian Wells and the pizza bombing. Like I said, this takes place in Pennsylvania in a city called Erie, which immediately sets off a tone for this one. A city called Erie, and a case happens there, of course. On August 28, 2003, police in Erie received a 911 call of a bank robbery that was actively still going on. As they were receiving this call, a short, bald headed man hobbled into the bank just a few minutes earlier with his walking stick and just seemed like a regular customer. Apart from the fact that he had this big, huge thing around his neck that was covered up with a t shirt. He made his way to the desk and he slid the bank teller a note to read. He pulled down his the neck of the shirt and showed him the bomb that was there, and that was this big metal collar and that was around his neck. That had it looked like a big handcuff, is what it looked like, and then it had a bomb attached to it. He then lifted his walking stick to show that he actually had a gun. It was a shotgun that had been disguised not very well, but no one actually noticed it yet. Um, he told them to gather all the employees, go to the vault, and fill the bag with $250,000. They got 15 minutes to do it. And I don't know if you know, this is the bomb collar. Bomb collar, shot collar. This was his cane. This is them loading up the money because obviously it takes a lot of money, or a lot of people with different codes and keys and everything to open an actual vault, but we'll get there. So this guy had a bomb around his neck and a shotgun on him. He's asking the bank tellers to give him $250,000. Obviously, bank staff are not trained to hand over are trained to hand over the money. It's not worth losing their life over. So they started giving him all the money they had, and they're like unlocking the vaults and stuff that they were trying to get the money that they wanted, but it's physically impossible. Banks have so many safeguardings. Um, Safeguarding, is that the word to use? That's him, by the way. This is a little gun. I don't know how they didn't notice that that was a gun. He actually was so calm, he had a lollipop. But there's like a lot of stuff for them to do. Anyway, they have safety features in place, one after another after another. There's like layers to bank security. So there was no way the bank tellers was going to be able to give him $250,000 from the vault within 15 minutes. It just the only certain it's just there's only certain people that have certain codes like that and protocol around it. Um, so the staff kind of tried to remain calm, realizing that he couldn't fulfill this request, and they go over to the man with the collar, bomb on, and they tried to explain to him that they don't keep that much money easily accessible. Um, it's not like they can fulfill that on demand. By the way, this whole time, um, so the tellers had been scrambling around trying to get the money, trying to unlock the vaults, and the whole time this man seemed creepily calm, like he just didn't, walk into the middle of a bank, and he was not tense or aggressive at all. He was literally just standing there as a normal customer. He was looking around, and at one point, like I said, he grabs a lollipop out of a bowl of sweets that they have sitting there on the counter at the bank. And he's just sucking on the lollipop. The whole time, staff are trying to explain to him that, they're not going to be able to get this amount of money. And so they hand him over a bag of loads of notes, bank notes, of course, or whatever, and he leaves the bank. And inside the bag there was like $8,000. Actually, I think the exact number was $8,702. So he went in there with a collar around his neck, a shotgun disguised as a cane, asking for $250,000, and came out of there with less than 10 grand. But yeah, the robber ended up leaving the bank without hurting anyone in the process. But by this point, they had already been quite a few phone calls made to the police. A few of the people that were like the customers in the bank, they didn't even feel trapped in the bank. Some of them actually just left. And like I said, he was creepily calm. He wasn't angry. He didn't threaten people to stay in place. He didn't seem to care that the people were escaping, but yeah, he left everyone unharmed. But the police were well aware that this had happened and that they were on their way. It literally took 10 or 15 minutes of the robber before he left the bank. He was caught by the police, and they must have just intercepted him and they headed straight to the bank. And they either pulled him over in a parking lot, or he was already in the parking lot of the Eyeglass World place. And so that's a major part of this case where it takes place. Okay. This is him sitting in front of the police car. They actually went and handcuffed him, I think, before they realized that he had an actual bomb around his neck. They were unclear if the bomb was real or if it was not. So they're trying to scramble and get the bomb squad in there. And He's sitting there and telling them, hey, I was called out to this area and these people put this on my neck and told me I had to do this little, you know, scavenger hunt and rob all these banks and everything. Um, and I could get out of this bomb collar. And they don't know what to think. I mean, they're just pulling up a scene of a bank robbery. That's all they know. Of course, the cops are keeping themselves far back from him because, again, they don't know, what's going on. This is the gentleman, Brian Wells, and he said that he had just went to deliver pizza, and then this shit happened. This is a closer picture. You can see it looks like they've put a shirt over him, and I can't tell what it says. There's one picture I got where it's I could read it. He said he told the cops, he said, I don't have a lot of time, it's gonna go off. This was a younger Brian Wells. And so they start hearing a ticking all of a sudden, and the ticking gets quicker, and the bomb goes off. And 2 minutes later, the bomb squad shows up. I could swear I had a picture. It's not a gruesome picture. It blew a hole in his chest. That's the pizza place that he worked at. This is the McDonald's that he was headed towards to get his next clue. He said that a construction worker had called and said they were out building and working on this tower and they wanted to order 2 pizzas. This was the location, 8631 Peach Street, Erie, Pennsylvania, 16559 USA. And this was some of the notes that he had to follow. This is the rules and regulations that if he tried to tamper with it, it detonate. Um, I mean, just anything. He had to go 60 miles an hour throughout the course. They used the word course. That would tell me something in itself because these people are not thinking that this is a human life. They're giving him a race. And this is some more of where the McDonald's thing is, where the sign would be. This is more, this is to the police. If they try to mess with it, it will go off. They will detonate it. They kept saying that they had the ability to detonate it. Spoiler alert, they didn't. This is more. I mean, you can go back and read these if you want to. Oh, they drew the McDonald's drive-through sign. They did put in here talking about no surveillance aircraft. That if they do, they will detonate the bomb. If he tries to contact the cops, they will detonate the bomb. If he doesn't go 60 miles an hour throughout the course, they will detonate the bomb. He's supposed to use 2 to 3 minutes at each stop, or they will detonate the bomb. This is a better picture of the places he was supposed to go because he was supposed to rob more than one bank. This was the top of the collar bomb that he had on, and each one had a key that he was supposed to find at these places, and then I guess a code to take it off. This is a map of all the places that he was supposed to go. This is where he started. Then he went to this bank. Then he was headed to this McDonald's. That's the bank that he robbed. That's where he was going. The next clue was supposed to be up under this big M. This is the road out to where he was going to. This is the phone booth where he received a phone call. Okay, Let me try to jump around a little bit here because I want you to definitely know who this guy is. Okay, this guy is a very important part of this whole story. Although he was abducted on just like some random patch of land down at the bottom, whereas the address, we give the address there. Bill Rothman was telling Bill Rothstein was telling them to go to an actual house street. They had received a letter and then they received a phone call telling them that a friend of his had killed somebody and he had been storing the body in his freezer. Nothing to do with the collar thing. They just started clicking that maybe I shouldn't be saying the B word so much. We'll see how this plays out. Kind of like the color bomb. Okay, I know I'm gonna get some shit for that. Hey, that's my kind of humor. If you're not into that, this probably isn't the channel you want to be on. There's so much I always want to say and don't get to say it. But Bill here has been keeping a body in his freezer for one of his friends, not his girlfriend, but it is a girl. This was the tower that the people were supposed to be working on. And Bill lived close to it. Bill lived real close to it. And this is the girl. Good Margie. Meet Margie with the long black hair. He told them to go to the garage and look into a big chest freezer at the back of it because they will find a human frozen body. He said that it was at his house and he was sending the police to it and he had stored it because a friend of his wanted him to store it because she had killed him and said, I'm sure you have guessed that, but said that the friend had committed murder and now is just doing, he was just doing her a favor. He was harboring the body for her in his house, keeping it. 54-year-old Marjorie Deal Armstrong. Marjorie with the long black hair. I don't know what the hell that is. I just made that up. She murdered her boyfriend on one night of August 13th as the man was sleeping in bed. Marjorie grabbed a shotgun and shot him several times in the head, just killing him in his sleep. Yeah, that'll kind of do it. That was 2 weeks before the pizza bombing incident, so 5 to 6 weeks ago at this point. By the time that Bill calls the police and tells them that Marjorie had killed her boyfriend, it had been 6 weeks ago. So they go to the address, they find the body, they see that he's right. They both get arrested. Here's good old Marjorie. Look at her, sexy thing. That's her in her younger years. That's her in her wee years. Yeah, I don't know who the hell that was. But that was the letter to the police. This is Bill and Marjorie. Now, the connection to this is that handwriting is identical to the handwriting that was given to Bill or Brian here. And Marjorie says that Bill is the one that done this. And I'm not sure why he done this, but he's the one that did this. And he had like Bill was like extremely smart, like really smart. So he had the capacity of doing it. And he's arrogant. Look at him. So the cops come there, they search, and Marjorie says this is the guy that got killed. Where did that picture go? This is the guy that actually killed him. Hold on. Said he was volatile and aggressive to be around, but regardless, Marjorie was quite a popular woman, it seems, unless you got too close to her. That's when you saw her dark side. But just for casual acquaintance and friends, she was popular. So it was self-defense. Now it's self-defense. They had been engaged twice, but Marjorie called it off. Bill was truly in love with Marjorie. That's why he kept the body in the freezer. She took advantage of him. She manipulated him. She very smart man, but she used him right. Um, and Bill went through with all this quite quickly, like immediately. He didn't really question it. He just did what Margie asked him to. So he put the body in the freezer. He melted the gun down, whatever. Couple weeks go by. The guilt was getting him really bad. I'm sure it was. I'm sure Marjorie had a new boyfriend, and that's what guilt was getting him. That's my theory. My theory. Allegedly. Ain't no damn allegedly. That's my theory. He got triggered. He got triggered. Oh, what the hell? He got triggered and called the police. Said he'd been feeling guilty. He had thought about committing suicide. Marjorie and Bill and the frozen body and Brian Wells and the pizza bombing. But it was very obvious that that's what this self-aside note was referring to, because that's what that note was a self-aside note. Because I mean, Brian was literally abducted on the same street 3 weeks before. I'm trying to get down to who those one guys were. Y'all, I'm not ignorant. I go through a lot of information. A guy named Floyd Stockton. It was Floyd. I forgot about Floyd. I wish you could see my hands going. Um, was this third roommate, and I don't know too much about him though, but it's absolutely horrific. So at this point is the time of the pizza bombing. Floyd Stockton was actually on the run from law from police for SA, a young woman with learning disabilities. He did that, and then he ran away and had been living with Bill for a while. So Bill was kind of harboring this guy from the law. That's a crime, by the way. Body in the freezer. Okay, these three people right here went to jail for murder. One of them, of this man, Bill was the one that constructed the stuff for Brian. Bill harbored a fugitive. He concealed a body, probably desecrated the corpse. This is where the pizza was supposed to be delivered, and this is where Bill lived. You can see it's actually the same road, just goes off the side there. Um, that's him. It blowed a hole in his chest. Okay. I want to say this. There was a lot of things in there that I mentioned that are illegal. And there's probably a lot of things that I missed. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But thank you for watching my channel. I appreciate it. And as always, please subscribe, like, share, comment, rebuttal, cuss, whatever you want to do. Leave it in the comments below. Um, but thank you again for watching as always. And if you're still around, then I guess I will see you next time. Be sure and get memberships. I got to push that memberships. My hands are pushing right now. Get those because I'm getting ready to do another A, and then I'm gonna go to another state that comes after Alabama. Alabama. I'm ignorant. Thank y'all for joining me, and as always, I will see you next time. Bear.